Okay. We'll call the Design Review Board meeting to order. John, if you have your roll call, and call to order and roll call.
Good afternoon. Mukesh and Haley won't be here today. Mukesh had another business opportunity, and Haley wasn't feeling well. You are the remaining three of the 5-member board. The design board currently has 5 members, and 3 of those are present as noted.
Okay, thank you. If we'll take a look at the minutes from the July 23rd meeting, and everybody had an opportunity to take a chance to look them over, and then I'll accept a motion to approve or amend, depending on.
I move that we approve the minutes of the July 23rd, 2020 special meeting.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, Carla moved, Maggie seconds. Any further discussion? If not, everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, minutes approved. On down to new business, we have application CC 20-8. John, I'll let you take it.
Yes. I will go back to item 1.3. Staff did send confirmation of the Kansas Open Meeting Act, so that was taken care of on August 6th. Under our new application, this was filed by Mike and Robert Fuller, requesting the approval of a certificate of compatibility to allow the replacement of existing storefront awnings with new awnings that have signage on them at 248 to 254 South Santa Fe. This property is legally described as lots 164 and 166 on Santa Fe in the original town of Salina. In our report, this indicates the location of the business, Mulberry being the bottom street here, Santa Fe being the vertical street there. These are similar Spanish Revival type design character buildings that go along the south part of Santa Fe that kind of ends here at the attorney's office on the corner, but the lot itself is 120 feet deep, and the facades in these two cases amount to 100 feet in width. James H. Moore was a local property developer and later a state senator, and he constructed this building in 1929 as a location for the Skaggs Safeway grocery store and Houghton Bakery. It was designed by Charles A. Smith, who did the St. John's Hospital and Marymount College. The 100-foot wide building is divided into 2 principal bays, each 50 feet in width, and they're distinguished by the Spanish dormers at the roof cornice, which are these vertical elements. Although the roof is in shadow, it's a multicolor Spanish tile cornice on that. Looking closer, the storefronts themselves have a clay tile base, as well as, and in the next slide, some of the decorative terracotta piers and vaults that go across those 6 bays of the window. Several of those are interconnected, so they're not actually 6 separate businesses, but this shows the existing building now with the awnings removed. They were going to be repaired and reconfigured so the awnings themselves will be back. What you're looking at today is the awning colors and the signage for those awnings. I think we have a photograph. This shows the existing conditions here on this. It was a forest green awning. I mean, that went in 1996. Awnings have been on this building since 1954, and they've been changed several times. This shows the existing awning. This shows the proposed awnings having the red outside piers, as well as these central 4 bays in a bluish color. And what the applicant asks is to replace the awning covers themselves. They will be reusing the existing frames. Those are being repaired, and they will be put back on the building in the same location. So the reddish color there you have as a sample on your dais, and it is meant to reflect back on the multicolored Spanish tile roof on the building itself. Under staff's suggested findings in this case, we would state that the proposed replacement awning will not be installed where it will interfere or cover the building's intact decorative architectural features. The proposed replacement awning will be compatible with material and style and overall color scheme of the building. Under 3, the proposed replacement awning will complement the scale of the building and will not obscure the building's features. And the proposed signage will be proportional to the building so that it does not dominate the appearance of the building. We do have a slide of the lettering. They'll be on the awning slope. The large portion is the awning slope itself that goes back to the roof. The smaller valance is the projecting awning at the front edge of that. And this shows the overall composition of the red on the outside and the blue on the interior there. Depending on the businesses that are going to locate there, this may be modified slightly, and the applicant today might address that if there's any changes. So you would have the opportunity today to approve the certificate of compatibility for the proposed awning replacement with findings that the awning and signage will conform to the design guidelines of downtown Salina. You could approve that subject to conditions. You could postpone consideration of the application if you need additional information concerning the proposal. And in the case of denial, there is an appeal process for the applicant. We do have one staff recommendation that if there are any significant changes to the proposed awning replacement as approved by the board, that the development service to staff will be notified of any change for review. And that's option number 2. So at this point, the staff be glad to take any questions the board may have.
Okay. Any questions or comments? No?
Not for staff, no.
Okay. Well, in that case, no further questions or comments. Any comment from,
Not really, other than the fact that.
you'll have you step up to the.
You might step up to the
have you
podium
step
so I
up
can
and-
hear you better.
And identify yourself, and then,
Okay, I'm Mike and Robert Fuller. One's my first name, one's my middle name, so. Okay, I think the only thing I wanted to point out is that we did go to great lengths to try and match the colors of the awnings to those tiles in the roof, because I've been in that building since back around 82, and actually been on Santa Fe down there since 78. So I have concern about making it look nice. One of the reasons we did red and blue like that, the Mediterranean blue and then the kind of terracotta red, is because the businesses on the outside edges are going to be separate businesses for the 4 awnings in the middle. So it's good for the businesses because it gives them a little separation too. But other than that, I've loved owning that building and look forward to being there for some time yet.
okay. Any comments, questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay?
Dustin, would you switch back to the picture of what it looks like without the awnings on it? Yeah, my only question is, I drove by, I think it was last night or the night before, and I saw that you had taken the awnings off and saw how unique and beautiful that architecture is under the awnings. So was there any thought or consideration given to leaving those off entirely?
A lot. We did that the first time we got approved, and it has to do with 2 things.
Can you step
get
up?
Oh, okay, you'll need to step back up.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. We considered it the last time when we put them up and got approval, and there's 2 things. Because where the sun comes in, it's just too hot to leave awnings off the front of that building. But the other thing, besides being too hot, if you put an awning up any lower than we put the ones up that were up there, the only reason we took them down was to recover them, was they're low enough that we had trouble with vandalism, with people walking by, cutting them, pulling on them, yanking them down. So we had to go to that height to get it done and keep it safe. And so that's why we did that. But it is just like right now with those awnings down, it is just burning up in there without an awning to cover that area. So
Okay.
that was the main reasons that we did it, and would like to keep it that way.
Okay.
And And like I said, they approved it the last time, so we've got the existing frames and everything, so we're not, all we basically did was change the color of the awning. We did not change the structure or anything like that.
Are those frames, I can't remember, are they open underneath? Can
No.
you see that, so you can't see the architecture even from standing under them?
No, because you have too much trouble with birds getting up underneath there and all kinds of stuff like that. So the bottom line is it just didn't make sense to leave them open because we had birds in there all the time.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions for him? Okay, thank you.
You bet.
All right, well, if there's no other discussion or comments from anyone, I'll entertain a motion to,
I move that we approve the staff's recommendation of option number 2, and that if there are any significant changes, that they be brought back to the board for further discussion.
okay. Have a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Maggie seconds. So if no further discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you.
All right, I appreciate you doing that. I wanted to mention one other thing, because I appreciate your concern for those arches. I'd have loved to have been in it, but what we did do was we were very careful. If you look at that picture, you see the really nice stonework that works all the way across the top of it. We were high enough, we could have covered that up too, but we made a decision to leave that row of stone still show. So it is at the top of those awnings, so it's not covered
I
up.
do appreciate that you took the care to not damage the architecture with the signing, because there's a lot of buildings downtown that have suffered a lot of damage from the aluminum facades and everything, so I do appreciate that.
Yeah, and the thing, here's the thing, there may be someday we can take those down, because we're considering better glass and stuff for the windows, but you do that, it also will change the look. And what we are doing, I'd like to point out, that's really going to make it look nice, and it's going to match up with what Trace had done across the street. All the trim on the windows will be black to match what's across the street with the way it looks. Trace has looked at it, and he agrees with me. It's going to look really nice. Because Mr. Walker made me a deal on the buildings that if I didn't want to keep them, he was going to take them. And I wanted that to keep that building and make it look nice across the street from that hotel. Because having been down there as long as I have been, I've seen my corner. You want to talk about a change in the neighborhood from what used to be on that corner with some of those. There was one historical home, but it still was not in very good shape. And some of those homes down there were about to fall down. And some of those apartment complexes were not real nice anymore either. So what they've done to that corner and what we're fixing to do across the street, I think we're going to have us a nice little corner down there on Santa Fe. So. And we are one of the things, just so you guys might know, that I feel like we're helping with is the fact that we have the kind of business that although we will do fairly large dollars from that location, as far as our sales, we don't need a lot of parking. And that's the one place I see they've got an issue. If I was to try and put a restaurant or something and I needed 100 parking places, we'd be in trouble. We don't need that. We're suffering right now simply because of all the people that are working on that hotel parking in front of our businesses, but I'm so excited about what they're doing. I'm certainly not getting in their way or slowing them down anyway. So I do thank you, though, for your consideration.
Samples back.
And I do think these colors are going to look really
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you. All right. Well, that's all the new business. Parish, we do not have any administrative item.
We have got nothing else for you as far as administrative items go. We do want to tell you that we will likely have the September 10th meeting. We have Ashby House doing some improvements down there with their three-story apartment building on 8th Street. And that is something that they're going to come to you before to give you the design scheme on that. We haven't received the application yet, but since we're on the one meeting per month schedule, it looks like it might work out for that particular property.
Okay. All right. And Unfinished business, doesn't appear there's anybody present for the public forum,
Well,
so,
just under the category of other business, we just want to confirm with you the records that we have in terms of the terms for board and commission members run through August 31st of each year. And we just want to confirm with each of you, our records show that Maggie has served her second term, and her term would expire on August 31st of this year, making this her last meeting, unless her records or recollection differs from that. Mr. Martin's term ends at the end of August, but he is eligible for reappointment if he is interested. Ms. Waters' term runs through 2021, as does Haley Helser's and Mr. Patel. But just August 24th is the date that the City Commission makes the new board appointments. And so in addition to any business that we would have a orientation and training meeting and annual business meeting as part of your September agenda. But I guess I would confirm with Maggie that it's her understanding that she's had her 2 terms and that this would be her last meeting on the board.
That's my understanding, yep. 6 years on this board.
So we obviously have an existing vacancy already for citizen at large and another position for citizen at large. So we'll try to work with SDI and others to, just because boards aren't completely filled at the August 24th appointment date, there are still expressions of interest that can come in, and people can be appointed all through the year. So depending on interest level, we'll continue to work with SDI and others to try to get back to our full membership here, but we want to express our appreciation for Maggie's devotion for serving out 2 terms and helping this board along in its reviews.
Thanks, it's been,
thank you. Maggie?
it's been very interesting and entertaining being on this board, so it's always fun to see what's coming downtown and what's happening.
Yeah, well, we'll miss you.
The only other thing I would add is that this morning I signed the certificate of occupancy for Yaya's restaurant, so they should be opening doors shortly. So the hotel and Starbucks have certificates of occupancy, and Yaya's had theirs signed off on today. And sometimes that means opening right away. In the case of the hotel, they needed their local certificate of occupancy so that the Hilton Corporation could come in and do their final inspection. So when you're in the hotel business, not only do you get inspected by the city, but you also get inspected by the franchisor. So they have to pass both inspections to open their doors.
Very good.
But we'll wait to see what happens with the board appointments on the 24th, and then we will notify people of, we're notifying you, but if we have new members, we'll notify them of the meeting on the 10th, and that will kind of serve as a orientation and also a refresher for returning board members. And just to know that we've had previous cases, both with this board and other boards. Sometimes when people fill out an expression of interest, they fill out multiple boards, and we've had people go from this board to the Planning Commission, or this board to the Heritage Commission, or other boards. So sometimes someone who's put in an expression of interest for multiple boards might move from one to the other. So we'll see how that comes out. We currently have a member of the Planning Commission who used to be on the Heritage Commission, and we had a member of the Planning Commission that used to be on this board. So we'll just see how that works.
Thank you. And just for the record, I did put in my application for a second term, so
Okay, so
Okay.
you'll know as soon as we know when they print out the resolution, and the mayor and the clerk's office do the best they can to there's, we've got animal control and we've got all kinds of advisory boards, so they try to do those all at once, and so there's a lot of ground to cover, so you'll be the first to know.
Okay, thank you. Any other items from anyone? If not, I'll take a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn.
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
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 Okay. All right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.